Hello and welcome. This is Ikari. Welcome to the Leader I Want interview. Joining us today is Ernesto Arellano, a senatorial candidate for under the Labor Win Coalition. Um, he'll be with us today to talk about his Senate bid, and yeah. So, sir, welcome to the Leader I Want interview.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Kamusta po? I heard you went to Bataan this morning.
Yes. We talked to two barangays covered by FAD. This is the Freeport Zone Administration. They are facing a threat of eviction by the authorities of FAD. So we had a dialogue with the authorities of FAD and the municipal government of Mariveles. So it was resolved positively. They are just waiting for time. Yeah.
So, sir, sabi niyo po na 50 years na po kayo sa labor movement.
Yeah.
Bakit po kayo tumakbo for Senate?
Sa mahabang panahon na yan ay hindi ko makahanap ng kalutasan doon sa kahirapan na palagi kakambal ng mga manggagawa. Sa loob ng panahon na yan, enforcement lang ng batas ang aming pinapatubad. We complain about the minimum wage na hindi sapat. It's not enough to let the workers have a decent living. So, mas mabuti na itaas natin yung antas ng laban ng mga workers to the level of legislation. Let us participate in the formulation of laws that will govern employer-employee relationship.
So, sir, ano-ano pong mga klase ng batas yung gusto niyo pong i-push?
Una ay we will give meaning to the constitutional mandate na dapat ang mga empleyado ay magkaroon ng living wage. Pangalawa ay dapat sila mabigyan ng gobyerno ang sapat na bahagi ng kanilang fruits of production. Itong dalawang pieces of legislation will upgrade the living standard of the Filipinos. Yeah. Dahil ang minimum wage ito sa NCR is 537. It is way below the required amount for a decent life. They are living under the poverty level. Government prescribes 42,000 pesos as the level below which you are living below the poverty line. Maski dalawa pa yung maski yung mag-asawa nagtatrabaho pa, kulang pa rin.
Opo.
Kulang pa rin.
So, sir, mga magkano po itong proposal niyo, if ever?
It will bring about have a burden heavier than usual to the employer. Pero very productive naman ng Filipino workers. Kaya-kaya yun. So it will double the current minimum wage level. Kasi ang 537 is the minimum wage for NCR.
Yes.
Sa regions, mas mababa pa. Pare-parehas naman ang presyo ng mga bilihin. The cost of living is just as high as in Metro Manila. So it is unfair. So there should be a twin legislation that will make the minimum wage national in scope.
Okay.
So nationalization of the minimum wage will bring about a better standard for the Filipino workers. Yeah.
So ito pong national minimum wage, meron din pong talks about that na gawing 750. Are you in it or?
We are in it.
Yeah.
We are pushing for that. Pero dapat hindi lamang legislated ang minimum wage. Hindi dapat, at saka yung mga benepisyo ay hindi lamang legislated. It should be a product of free collective bargaining.
Okay.
Pero kinakailan, the right to form unions and to exercise the right to self-organization will be unrestrained
Yes.
para balanse ang puwersa ng mga empleyado at saka mga employer. The employer is really very powerful in the enterprise level. The only balancing power na meron ng mga empleyado is the unrestricted right to self-organization and to exercise that right of self-organization. So the collective bargaining will be a product of a free collective bargaining organization that will be healthy for business, that will be healthy for labor, and that will be called industrial harmony and peace. Yeah.
Balik ko lang po dun, sir, about sa organizing po, ano, and sa collective bargaining. Meron naman, parte naman po yun sa rights ng workers na mag-form ng union. But parang binabanggit po ng administration ni President Duterte in the past na because of forming unions daw, kaya nagkakaroon ng palaging mga nagwiwelga, nagsistrike that leads to unproductivity. Ano pong masasabi niyo dun, sir?
Hindi totoo yan. It is the resistance put up by the employer. Labor is considered a partner, a social partner of capital. That's why labor is predicated on the principle of tripartite. You have two players, you have labor, you have capital, and you have the government as the mediator. So you have a tripartite relation. When there is, to the workers, strike is the last resort. The workers are prudent. It is the intransigence, yung matigas ang ulo ng mga employer na magbigay, binabarat. So, dumarating sa punto na magwelga. Pero kung effective ang mediation na gagawin ng gobyerno, madaling the product, which is the collective bargaining agreement, will be one that is voluntarily entered into by the two parties. So, mas maganda yan kaysa doon sa palaging legislated. Parang namamalimos ang mga empleyado. Dapat hindi. It should be a product of a healthy negotiation between the employer as a major player and the employees as the counterpart or the partner.
Okay. So, if meron po tayong collective bargaining agreement, are you saying na this should be may expiration date also, katulad nung sa nangyayari ngayon? Kaya lang kasi parang pag regional, katulad nung sa regional wage productivity, di ba? Palaging, I think, every year?
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
The 5 year is divided into two. The first negotiation will cover the 3-year period, and the second negotiation will cover the remaining 2 years.
Sa CBA po?
Sa CBA,
okay. So, sir, paano niyo po pinaplano mas mapa-strengthen yung CBA among...
We will improve the labor relations law. Merong improvement ngayon na hindi mo na kailangan ng i-divulge pa yung pangalan ng mga signatories sa petition for certification election. Dahil kapag dinivulge mo yung pangalan ng mga leaders mo, kinabukasan suspendido na yan o kung hindi tanggal o kung hindi may kaso. So sa ngayon ay we will lighten that. So mas madali, it will not, the certification election process will be shortened, it will be very fast, and there will be a penalty for any act of unfair labor practice to be committed by the employer.
So, sir, question ko lang, no? I think ito po, marami po sa mga pinupush po ninyo, like katulad sa minimum wage, ito yung talagang mga obrero po eh. Siguro, sir, ano naman po yung parang gusto niyo pong i-push for, say, yung mga middle class workers or perhaps the BPO workers, ganun po?
Well, I'm a lawyer for the union in Team Energy. The average monthly rate is 35,000. It's way above the minimum wage.
Yes. Okay.
Well, it is because the industry, the company belongs to the energy industry, And the income is very high of these are private producer of energy. They have a contract with the government, and whether they will produce or not, they are paid. So the level of income of the company is very high. That's why the rate is very low. Very high ang output, so mataas din ang kanilang sahod, mataas din ang mga benepisyo. Ang problema dito, ang ating karamihan sa mga ating kumpanya ay many of them employs 100 and below. At hindi pa nagbabayad ng minimum wage, yung minimum wage. So yan ang kailangan ng free collective bargaining.
That's why you wanted to push for that also.
That is, dyan kailangan yung free collective bargaining. The economy is simply undeveloped na hindi nakakapagbigay ng sapat na trabaho at sapat na sweldo. Imagine sa UP, sa College of Medicine, batay sa data ng UP, 80% ng mga graduates na doktor ng UP eventually leave the country and go to the other country.
Yeah.
So, kulang na ang trabaho, mababa pa ang sweldo, kaya ang karamihan ay napupunta sa ibang bansa. So, kaya doon nga sa aming discussion, the federal form of yung constitution for a change in government, kung gusto mong umunlad, pumunta ka sa ibang bansa. Yeah. Nagpunta kami sa Pasig hapon. Yung magagandang bahay diyan sa Pasig ay bahay ng mga nagpunta sa ibang bansa or OFW. In fact, a big portion of the national budget consists of remittances from the OFW. This is really very unfortunate. Ang ating economy ay nananatiling underdeveloped. So, ito ang kakulangan ng ating pamahalaan. Hindi talaga walang proyekto for industrialization.
Yeah. So what do you propose, sir?
I think the proposal will be we have to free the economy from the control of the oligarchs. And we'll have to free the election and people holding political offices, elected positions from political dynasties.
Okay.
The economy is effectively under the control of the oligarchs or the rich few, and the political processes, legislation, is effectively under the control of political dynasties. We have to free our legislative body from the control of these oligarchs and political dynasties.
Sir, recently meron pong nagsabi na politician na hindi naman daw sila political dynasty because elected po sila by people. What can you say about that?
Well, that is completely a understatement of what is really happening. Philippine election, because a big disparity between the rich and the poor, is decided by two factors. One is popularity. Second is you have money. These two do not actually give the competent qualification for those who belong to this. If you are popular because you are an actor, an actress. Artista ka, lalo-lalo na kung ikaw ay may sakay na kabayo at ikaw ay isa sa leading actor na probinsyano. Di popular ka, pero yung popularity mo na yan ay hindi nagbigay ng isang competent qualification for legislation. Itong oligarchs naman, sila yung tatamaan ng legislation. Halimbawa, itong nasa Senado, nasa lower house, ay mga oligarchs. sila ang tataman kung sakaling merong batas na nagbibigay ng this much share of labor from their fruits of production. Sila ang tataman kung ang minimum wage is this much. So, sa saligang 1987, nandoon na yung mandate. Congress shall give emphasis to passing legislations which will distribute equitably wealth and opportunity. Pero hanggang ngayon wala. Meron din provision sa 1987 Constitution na binabasag niya ang kontrol ng political dynasties. Anong ginawa? Pagkatapos na isinabmit ng Puno Commission ang draft, tinanggal nila yung prohibition sa political dynasties. We have only 204 political dynasties in the Philippines. Yung membro ng political dynasties ang nagkukontrol, merong monopoly, to the point that public elective officers become private properties of political dynasties. Makita mo, tinan mo lang San Juan, tinan mo Makati, nag-aaway-away kung kanino ibibigay, kaninong anak ibibigay yung pwesto. Pagkatapos si Mr., si Mrs. Pagkatapos si Mrs., yung anak. Tapos yung pangalawang anak. So, ito, ang tingin ko, kinakailan, we have to distribute equitably power, whether it is economic or political power. That is in the 1987 Constitution. We have to diffuse wealth.
So, sir, kailangan pa po ba natin ng batas that would actually ban?
Kailangan. Kailangan. And the proposed the proposed constitution for a federal form of government is the peaceful way to diffuse concentration of wealth and the concentration of political power in the hands of the few.
So you're for federalism?
We are pushing federalism as drafted by the Pono Commission.
Okay. Sir, other topic lang po, no? Before you mentioned that you wanted to push for universal healthcare, but actually meron na po tayong batas pa, no? So, ano pong mga klaseng pro-poor policies din po yung gusto nyo rin pong i-push?
Pro-poor policy. Unang-una, the nationalization of the minimum wage will address the plight of the workers. Unemployment insurance. Ang mga empleyado na tinatanggal ng walang katwiran ay dapat merong pondo na ipon para sa kanila habang naghahanap sila ng trabaho. So we have the unemployment insurance fund para sa mga empleyado.
Yung unemployment insurance fund po, where should it come from? From the employer, from the government?
It could be a trilateral contribution, partly from the employer, a small amount, and from the employers, and from government, the initial fund. Kasi ito ay, it will be a buffer fund for the family of employees who are terminated for employment, and eventually for those who will not be able to look for a job after looking for a job. Ang tingin ko, responsibility ng economy na under the watch of government, the executive and the legislative as well, na i-develop ang economy para makapag-provide ng trabaho sa mga mamamayan. Kapag nag-default ang gobyerno, kinakailangan magkaroon ng pondo para sa mga unemployed or those who are terminated. So we have an insurance fund for those who cannot look for work after making a diligent search for work. And at the same time, itong mga tinanggal ng walang katwiran o yung mga OFWs na ang kontrata ay naputol, dapat meron silang buffer fund na makukuha. That should be the responsibility of the state. Under the proposed federal constitution, merong nakalaan na pondo.
Okay.
So we will push for that.
Um, Siguro, sir, yung additional question ko po, no, in previous senatorial debates, nabanggit nyo rin po na gusto nyo pong i-address yung pagkaka-displace ng mga workers. In relation to that, siguro yung tanong ko lang po, ano pong masasabi ninyo about the Chinese workers here in the Philippines?
Merong adverse effect sa Filipino workers' employment. Marami sa mga Chinese na nandito ay pumasok illegally. Dapat the full force of the law should be applied. Dahil kapag ang Pinoy nagpunta sa ibang bansa, kapag sila nahuli na illegal, i-deport. There should be a strict implementation of immigration laws. At kung wala silang permit to work, they should not be given any work. So, ang problema dito ngayon ay masyadong naging kampante because of the good relation between the present administration and the Chinese government. So, naging kampante. Baka pwede pa, naging source na corruption yan. So, ang aking proposal dyan, apply the law on immigration strictly. Kapag illegal yan, i-deport mo. Then you will allow those Chinese to enter legally and give them the work in the same way that the Filipino workers are given work if they have complete document going to other countries. So ganun pa man, all things equal, there should still be a preference for Filipino workers. That is our right. And that should be the dimension, the nationalist, the patriotic dimension of the law, implementation of the law. Bigyan natin ng preference ng Filipino workers. Meron naman batas na kung walang skilled worker, Filipino workers, na kayang magbigay ng kailangan ng kumpanya na skill, pwede siyang kumuha. Consultancy, the much abuse revision ng contract. Pwede rin yun. So, dito, sa presence ng maraming Chinese dito, nobody will ever question that you have to implement strictly the law on immigration. Kung illegal, i-deport. Kung walang permit, hindi bibigyan ng trabaho.
So, siguro related lang po dyan, no? Si Special Envoy to China, Ramon Tulfo, before, tinawag po niya na lazy po yung mga workers. Any comment on that coming from the labor movement in the past 50 years?
He should be asked to apologize to the Filipino workers. I don't think Philippine labor is a preferred labor overseas. Hinahanap nila ang Pinoy. Sa Hong Kong, hinahanap nila ang Pinoy. Sa Middle East, hinahanap nila ang Pinoy. Dahil, pag nagtrabaho yan, very diligent yan. At saka facility of expression, the capacity to adjust ay maganda. So you have your own countryman. You have your own Filipino envoy na degrading the Filipino. I mean, I think that he is a dishonor to the Philippine Republic and the Filipino workers. He should be made to apologize to the Filipino workers, or he should resign his post. He is not qualified to represent the Filipino workers outside of the country.
But he actually didn't want to apologize. So, related din po doon, no, na about dito sa mga increasing Chinese workers and yung tinatawag nga daw po na lazy yung Filipinos, ganyan. Meron din pong sinasabi administration before na hindi raw po ganun ka-competent yung Filipino workers, that's why hindi raw po sila hinahire.
If you will make a survey dito sa ASEAN, sa supervisory level ng empleyado, ang preferred ay Filipino supervisory workers. Kaya ang napakaraming empleyado sa ASEAN countries, the 9 other ASEAN countries, they prefer supervisory Filipino workers. That's a fact.
Okay. Siguro, sir, yung experience nyo na lang din po with the labor movement, you've been there for 50 years and now you're the president of the National Confederation of Labor. Siguro tanong ko lang po, no, isn't winning this election kind of challenging, being 35 to 45 rank in the recent Pulse Asia survey?
Very, very challenging. The system is so arranged that it works against us. Kaya na sinabi ko earlier, ang talagang deciding factor sa election is popularity. And the second is money, wealth. Sa katunayan nga, I was nominated by the Katipunan Party. The Law Department of COMELEC motu proprio filed a petition to disqualify us.
Yes.
Because we are nuisance. We are nuisance because we do not have the necessary amount of campaign funds, which amount to millions. 5 pesos or 6 pesos for every voter. And you have 55 million registered voters. So 55 million voters times 6. That's only 300 million pesos. We do not have that much. But we have the warm bodies of workers we have organized. Informal settlers we have organized into homeowners association. We are relying on them and they are very honestly working hard for us. Sila pa nga nagpre-print ng aming pulyeto. Sila nagpapagawa ng aming tarpaulin. Now, this is the essence of a democratic society, that the people are organized and they can exercise the right as the sovereign people. Yun na ang under the proposed constitution, the people will be given the right to initiate amendment, the making of a law, the amendment of the law, or even the ratification of the Constitution. Hindi kagaya ngayon na pag bumoto ka na, you have already exercised your sovereign right, which is very limited. Pero dito ngayon, under the new Constitution, you will be given the full freedom to exercise people's initiative, plebiscite, and referendum.
Okay. So, sir, question ko lang, paano po kayo nagka-campaign? Do you go to labor conferences or events? Paano po?
Well, ang typical ay we have organized a relocation site of informal settlers. Maraming heavily populated din. Madapdap, for example, sa Pampanga. That is a relocation site of people who were affected by Mount Pinatubo eruption. Doon sila marami. At saka yung mga informal settlers na napaalis, relocated din. So we were, at saka mga unions namin, nandun. So we were able to organize a livelihood project. So yan, ay pinunta namin doon. So pupunta kami dyan directly with the people. We talk to the people. Of course, kag daliman ng ganito, we were invited to a debate, political debate.
Yes.
So yan, that's one way. Pero basically, ang aming pamamaraan ng kampanya is we go to the place where we have organized the homeowners association or to the unions we have organized. And yesterday, I went to attend I was invited to give a brief statement during the 29th anniversary of the cooperative of Arms Corps. Of more than, the membership is more than 1,000. So, ganun yung pamamaraan namin. Pumupunta doon sa mga organized forum namin. Ito lang ang panlaban namin. The organized warm bodies of workers and informal settlers. So, ang talagang sektor namin ay mga manggagawa at yung mga maralita. Mayaman kami dyan. At ang pwede kong ipagmalaki na yung survey na inilabas ng Palsasia recently ay yung mga dati na pabalik-balik sa Kongreso, wala nangyari. O hindi, yung mga nandoon na nakinasuhan. So, yun din nandoon. So, nandoon pa rin, the market is still, yung market vote kasi ay popularity o hindi mabili. Either you are popular or you have the money to buy. Yan. So, wala kami both. Pero meron kaming warm bodies. So, ito pa naman ang aking first time. Tinanggap ko na yung hamon na we have to raise the level of the workers of struggle from implementing the law to legislating the law for the workers and the poor. Yes.
Siguro, sir, last na lang po, no? For the labor win, what do you think will be your edge in winning the hearts of the people?
Well, we in the category of voters designed by COMELEC, we have DNE to consist 64% the total vote. So A for the very, very rich, B for the not so rich, but rich, then C is the middle class, and DNE is the bottom. DNE consists of 64%. So you have for the market 64%. So we believe that we have the agenda for the 62%, who are workers, who are informal settlers, are farmers, or fisher folk. This comprise the more than a majority. That is why we formed Labor Win, a coalition of lawyers and trade union leaders from the labor movement. We want to create the labor as a force to reckon with. The Constitution says labor is a social force for the economic development. We want that force to be organized and a force to contend with. We have started Labor Win, and we want to develop that as a political force. In the same way na yung makapatid natin na iglesia, INC, ay bagamat 2 million lang sila, is a force na nililigawan ng mga politiko tuwing birthday ni Brother Manalo, tuwing anniversary ng Iglesia Registro, nililigawan dahil force dahil merong some degree of cohesion and they vote as a block. So if we can organize the labor vote, which is 64% of the registered voters, I think the time will come that the Senate will be dominated by labor or the people who really constitute the majority. We constitute the majority. So, in a democracy, the majority should rule. Eh, dahil kami ang mayorya, dapat kami. Pero yung electoral system kasi is stuck against us. So, kung ma-aproban itong proposed constitution for a federal form of government, then we shall have started diffusing wealth. And we have started unbundling the control of political dynasty. Democracy will become genuine for the people.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
On that note, we've been talking to Senatorial Bet Ernesto Arellano. I'm Ikari, and this is The Leader That I Want.